Good rainy morning to all of you. I'm Eric Bergeson. I'm the Kilbourne Library Media Specialist in Worthington City Schools, and I have a book to read for you today called Little Red and the Cat Who Loved Cake. Now, if you are a fan of nursery rhymes, you're going to love this book. And apologies in advance for my funny voices, but this book doesn't have a lot of words in it, so I'm going to do my best to represent the characters. Little Red and the Cat Who Loved Cake by Barbara Layman. And usually they put the dedication at the front of the book, but here it's at the back of the book, for Peanut. The cat who loved cake, Wolfie. Wolfie sits beside his father and his brother and imagines a beautiful cake that they're going to make. He watches them pour out the cake, place it in the oven, cook it, take it out, wait for it to cool, and put delicious chocolate frosting on it. Wolfie can't wait. And then, to Wolfie's dismay and surprise, the father says, "We're going to take this cake to Grandma." And so, Little Red gets dressed up and says, "I'm going to go to Grandma's house." And Wolfie thinks, and then bing, suddenly has a great idea. So, as Little Red leaves, Wolfie bounds out the upper window, imagining cake, as Big Red says goodbye to his son. And as Wolfie goes downtown, he goes past several stores. Pat a Cake Bakery, Cinderella Footwear, Hickory Dickory Dock, Let Us Fix Your Clock, Dish and Spoon Diner. Oh my goodness, they have all kinds of great things downtown. And as Little Red continues on, thinking about Grandma, Wolfie follows along, thinking only about cake, passing Hansel and Gretel's House of Candy, Humpty Dumpty Insurance, Peter Piper's Grocery, and Little Red, all the while thinking of Grandma. And as Wolfie thinks of cake and passes the Brementown musicians, he doesn't realize that Little Red stops to talk to his friend. And Little Red tells his friend, "I'm going to Grandma's house." Wolfie goes, "Arr!" and stops and thinks. And suddenly he hides himself behind a newspaper in front of the Brementown musicians poster. And the two kids snicker and laugh and say goodbye to each other. Wolfie peeks open one eye, decides, "I'm okay," goes, whew, and runs on thinking about that delicious cake. Wolfie goes on thinking about cake past the Brave Little Tailor and the Gingerbread Gym and Rapunzel's Style Salon as Little Red enters the city park. And Wolfie continues thinking about that cake past the Puss in Boots statue. Little Red thinking again about Grandma, going past a beanstalk and stopping, oh no, at the beanstalk. Wolfie has to think of something fast, so he poses right in front of Puss in Boots. Very appropriate for a cat. And again, Little Red just seems to be talking to his friend, who tells him about her goose that lays a big egg. Finally, Wolfie takes a peek, sees that the coast is clear, and continues on, thinking only about that delicious cake, with Little Red thinking only about his grandma. And passing through the park, continuing, oh no! Little Red sees two of his friends, Jack and Jill, tumbling down the hill. And Wolfie finds himself needing to hide again, so he poses in front of a cat-shaped park toy. Little Red pauses to make sure that his friends are okay. And Wolfie waits, finally seeing that the coast is clear, and moves on. In fact, Wolfie takes advantage of the distraction. While Little Red is seeing to his friends, Wolfie bounds ahead. And as Jack and Jill talk about their trip up the hill to get a pail of water, Little Red says, "I gotta go, guys. I have to go to my grandma's house." And Wolfie looks back to see Little Red following. Now Wolfie's ahead and he's thinking about the cake. And this time he leads Little Red to downtown, past Three Pigs Realty and Dr. Foster, who went to Gloucester. Hector Protector Security and Mary Q. Contrary's florist shop. Where upstairs, Mary Quite Contrary is thinking about socks. Wolfie thinks he's going to have the last laugh. Bing! He gets a great idea and runs off. Past the Golden Goose Savings Bank. On, past that, to Grandma's house. And Grandma's outside in the garden digging. What will Wolfie do? Wolfie pauses like a spy behind the building and peeks around secretly. And he takes advantage of jumping into an open window, while Little Red pauses to talk to his friend the trumpet player and about heading to Grandma's house. Only look, Grandma seems to have spotted Wolfie. Wolfie's still thinking about cake. So Grandma goes, and catches Little Red at the gate and says, shh, guess what? And tells Little Red the secret. So Little Red and Grandma peek through the window, where cute little Wolfie is trying on Grandma's hats. Oh, there's a Napoleon one there. And, like a bad cat, jumps up on the bed to find the knitting. Usually cats play with the knitting. This time, Wolfie dresses up in Grandma's sleeping cap and pretends to knit. Little Red and Grandma are onto Wolfie's plan and go, surprise! And Wolfie loses everything, the hat, the knitting, everything. And then sheepishly pulls the blanket up towards his face. He's been caught. But Grandma and Little Red decide to share some chocolate cake with Wolfie. And Wolfie is delighted. Wolfie, like a good cat, helps clean the dishes before he leaves. Both of them give Grandma a hug, and both of them are thinking lovingly of her when they depart. Little Red and Wolfie leaving Grandma's gate. Back past all of the fairy tale shops, happily moving along. Back past even more fairy tale shops, where Wolfie decides to climb onto the roof and into the window so that Big Red doesn't know what he's been up to. What are the chances that Little Red's going to tell him? Who knows? Finally, Wolfie bounds into bed, and Little Red tells his dad, Big Red, all about the cake and the cat. And Wolfie pretends to be sleeping. And Big Red reads a story along with Little Red, and they both suddenly look out the window. And the cat, Wolfie, Little Red, and Big Red all see the cow jumping over the moon. And Little Red and Wolfie go fast asleep. Now, before the end of the story, there's a catch to this book. It says counting sheep. Can you find the 24 lost sheep scattered throughout the illustrations? Oh my goodness. And before I conclude the end, you also get to look for all of these illustrations from all of these fairy tales in the back of the book. Thank you for listening to me. My name is Eric Bergeson. I'm the Kilbourne Middle School librarian. I hope you have a wonderful day.